Morning, everybody. Beautiful January morning down here in South Florida. It's about 65 degrees out there. It's early. It's going to warm up a little bit, probably low to mid 70s today. That's fantastic. Light breeze. Nice. Perfect day to work on some projects. Well, I have this older project that I haven't mentioned yet, and I'm trying to just get things squared away for 2023. As you know, on my previous videos, you know that I have a ton of projects and different things going on. And of course, you got to make sure you have the equipment and or the tools to get them done. 2023, I need myself a truck that'll do what I need it to do so that I can continue to do what I do, so to speak. I need a truck with a bed, I need a truck that'll pull a trailer, and I need a truck that's 4x4 to get into what we're doing. What I cannot have is a complete sidetrack on building a truck to use it for what we need to do everything else with. That's when things get a little complicated for me. I do a lot of painting myself into a corner with those kind of projects. I can't leave nothing alone. And most car guys and project guys have the same problem. We just can't leave nothing alone. So, long story short, this obviously is not a new situation for me. And I'm very hard on everything I got. I just am. I take things to the limit. I push them as hard as I can. And a lot of times I break things. It is what it is. So I started working out here on some of the projects, and I had a 1500 truck that was hanging around. I had a lowrider short bed dually that I'm going to do another episode on. And it just, they weren't strong enough. So from there I went into a 2500 series. I went into a 6-liter, more Chevys. And you saw the Suburban that I used. A couple times you've seen it in the videos. It's not making enough power, not making enough torque to do what I needed to do. It's just struggling a lot. So I went ahead and purchased another strange vehicle. This is a 2002 Chevy Avalanche 2500. A lot of people don't know about this truck. It is one of the best kept secrets in my opinion. Thing is ugly as sin. But we're going to do something about that also. And we have already in the past done a little bit about that as it is. This thing is putting out, it's got a 496 big block in it. So it's putting out over 400 pounds of torque. And it's a 4x4 and it's geared just right. And it's nasty. It was nasty. I had a good time in it with the kids, and we were just beating up on it, and I was doing donuts in it, and they were loving it, and I was yanking on these big crazy boxes that I've been working on. And unfortunately, one day I just pushed a little too hard. I overheated the transmission, and that was the end of that. And of course, at that point, I decided, you know what? Let's do a diesel. The thing is, there was not 20 or 30,000 in the budget for this. And again, the Gadget way, well, that's not the Gadget way. 30 grand into a truck like that right out the gate that you're gonna beat the hell out of and break? Nah. I want something a little more unique and different, so I found this crazy Avalanche, and it worked great. But unfortunately, as a result of that, I've kind of been maneuvering around having to use a truck that nastily, so to speak. And I've paid a couple of tow truck drivers, and I've had a couple of guys come in and do me a couple of favors and move things around with big heavy trucks. I'm over that. I need to build myself a 2023 rig, we'll call it. That's going to be basically a truck and trailer. Got lots of things going on, and clearly you need a truck and trailer for doing the things that I do. So we are going to bring that Avalanche back out. So without further ado, let me let you guys have a look at this thing. Ah, there she is in all her glory. She's a beaut, isn't she? Well, this one I actually found locally in Pompano Beach on a really good deal. Once I figured out what these things were worth, they pull a pretty penny in decent condition. I needed a rat. I needed a project. And I found one. This thing was nasty. Clearly all this customization and pinkness didn't help the case whatsoever. So, great potential, needed to do something with it. So I purchased it. Got an awesome deal on this thing. Actually only paid $1,500 for it. It ran and drove. I flatbedded it home. I couldn't trust this. I don't know if this thing would make it back or not. It's about 20 miles or so, but still, I didn't want to get stuck out there. But this thing was bedazzled to the hilt. This is just half of the stuff that you see. A lot of it I took out. This was before the channel. And I didn't have any more pictures to show you guys, but I got to work on it immediately. And, of course, lots of nuts and bolts, so we went ahead and just dropped them in the center console for safekeeping. There you can see we already swapped out the doors, put some Silverado doors on it. Off and on. I had the tan leather inside, but everything was spray painted also. Plastics were spray painted. Wiring was a hot mess. This thing was all furry and textured and strange what was going on with the paintwork on it. Don't know what it was all about, but it definitely had its fair share of abuse. We took this down in a weekend. Tore the whole front end off. I actually did it all with hand tools, which is not bad. It's like a therapy for me, as you know. And here she is with a nice new front end and doors. I wouldn't say new, but new to us, new to that particular truck. And then we went from there. Big difference between the before and after. I just don't like that front end whatsoever. HD front end, I think, is the way to go. And it's going to look very, very similar to my other vehicle. All the pink trimming came off the back. I pulled off all the plastics, just not into any of it. It all needed to go. And go it went. I actually tried to sell some of that cladding and some of that plastic online. Wasn't happening. Nobody was interested. What are you going to do? That's all right. Like I said before, it was somewhat of a project I started. I began it, broke it, never finished it, parked it, and got complicated with other projects. So, yeah, I did make some changes to it, and you'll see that now. Yeah, maybe you see it, maybe you don't. If it was a snake, it'd bite you. There she is. Because I thought this thing was incredibly ugly, I went ahead and changed a bunch of stuff. What I did was I swapped out that front end and I swapped out all the doors, so it's no longer an ugly Avalanche, so to speak. Or maybe it's less ugly. I don't know. Some people like that front end and the cladding and all that other crap. I don't like any of that. I like my Silverados, I like my Chevys, and I like that HD look. So we went ahead and put an HD front end on it. We did the fenders, we did the doors, and just to knock some of that ugly off the front of that truck before I started messing with it, we started, and that was about it. As you saw from the pictures, this thing was bedazzled pretty good and spray painted and all that other crap, and just not a big fan of spray painted dashboards and interior trim because, you know, it scratches. You look at it the wrong way, it comes up. You wipe it down or grease it, it comes up. I don't like that, so I went ahead and swapped all that too. Sounds like a whole lot of work, but these things are kind of like jigsaw puzzles, so I kind of did it the weekend. And again, it's work in progress, but let me give you a closer look. See, look pretty bad, don't it? They were nice when I parked it. Interior was nice when I parked it. Down here in South Florida with all the humidity, you get mold. So I got to clean all that out. And it did run when I parked it. Now, unfortunately, it does not. I limped it over here after that transmission gave out. The next day or two, I tried to start and move it. That was the end of that. So I don't know. I didn't bother diagnosing it. I didn't bother getting into it. I had a bunch of other things going on. And I don't know. I just didn't care at the time. Still like the truck, though. Still like the truck. I did the headliner. I did the trim panels. I did the console. Did the dash. I even did the carpet. Growing trees, man. Yeah, that's going to be the 2023 rig. I didn't put that in there. Ah, yes. Yo, girl just needs a little love. We'll get it there. Stay tuned. This one's gonna get front and center. I need a truck. Thanks for watching.